I can't believe I'm saying this, but welcome to my first ever YouTube video. If you're stressing about your Eid makeup, don't worry because I got you on an in-depth step-by-step tutorial on how I achieved this look, which I'm absolutely obsessed with. I share all my tips and tricks and techniques, and after watching this, you're gonna have literally no excuse for your makeup not to eat on Eid. Grab your papers and your pens, take notes, because we're all gonna eat this Eid together. So let's get into the look. First step that is gonna make or break your entire Eid makeup look or your makeup in general is skin prep. Starting off with the Charlotte Tilbury Glow Toner, one thing we do not want is for our makeup to look dry and crusty. And this toner is literally going to prevent just that. Like, it adds such a nice layer of hydration underneath my moisturizer, and it also just leaves a really nice glowy finish. Next, I'm going in with the Glow Recipe Dewdrops, but you can use any of your favorite moisturizers. Moisturizer is literally the key to preventing cakey makeup. So we can't forget our Girl Primer. I'm going in with the One Size Secure the Glow Primer. I'm using a lot of hydrating and glowy products because I have dry skin. If you have more oily skin, you would use more mattifying products. I know you guys are seeing the pre-Eid breakouts. Every time I stay on top of my skincare routine, I be doing everything to prevent this, but it's like my skin knows it's Eid and it has to break out, but it is what it is. Don't forget, we can't be having crusty lips. Put some lip balm on before you start your makeup. All right, it's time to really get into the beat. I love to start off with my eyebrows. I feel like it sets the tone for the whole makeup. For my brows, I don't like to go overboard with like filling them in or anything. That's just my personal preference. I prefer using something with a strong hold, like the Benefit Fluff Up Brow Wax or whatever works for you. Start by brushing up my brows and really running the product through my eyebrows. Once I've ran the product through my brows, I start to shape them. I start by brushing down the edges on the tail of my lashes. Whoa, on the tail of my eyebrows. I do the same thing on the top, kind of creating the shape that I want. Automatically, it just looks so much cleaner. Then for the front, I like to just brush upwards. Look at how much cleaner this brow looks already. And it literally gives me like a brow lift. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Just one product. You don't need to do the most. I literally never skip this step. I always start my eyeshadow looks with tape. I take this much tape, put it onto my eye, kind of in the shape that I want my eyeshadow. This just makes the blending process so much easier. You don't need to worry about fallout or cleaning up afterwards. I'm using the Huda Beauty Pretty Grunge palette. In terms of brushes, I'm not too picky. Like, whatever works, works. Just grab a big fluffy brush to start with. And we're gonna go in with this light brown over here, all over the lid. Let's come a little closer. I'm just gonna start by blending that in all over my crease. This is gonna be kind of like our transition color. I like to kind of fan it outwards as well. I'm gonna do a pretty basic eyeshadow look. I feel like when I go overboard on Eid, it always looks like birthday makeup. So we're gonna try to avoid that and make it super easy, but still cute. Once that's all over our lid, I'm gonna take a little bit of a darker, warmer brown. I'm gonna add more depth into the eye by focusing it mostly in the crease area right here. Like right underneath your eyebrow bone, you'll feel a space here. Focus the color mostly into there and blend outwards. Now we're gonna go in with this shade right here. I like to use a flatter brush like this. How do I focus this? Guys, I used to watch YouTube videos and they'd always be like, how do I focus this? Like, for real, how do I focus this? Just pick up the product, focus it on the inner half of our eye. I have smaller eyes, so instead of going right on my lid, I like to go a little bit above my lid. That creates the illusion of a bigger eye. I'll show you guys. You guys can see that? And go a little bit above my lid and then blend it out and into the middle of my eye, like that. And you see how my eye instantly like looks more open and awake? Once that's done, we're gonna take our same brush that we used to add the browns and kind of diffuse it by blending it into the middle so we can kind of like marry the two colors together. I didn't pick up any extra product, by the way. I'm just going in with what's left. I'm gonna go in with the darkest brown. It's pretty similar to black. And start tracing right along the tape, slowly winging out as you go. Just kind of blend it into your lash line. Now for the fun part, the tape reveal. And you see how sharp and clean it looks. I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't even need to be perfect because once you put lashes on top, nobody can tell. Time for lashes. I'm gonna go in with these lashes from Velour and Can't Be Tamed. I already trimmed the inner part to fit my eye. What I like to do before I put my lashes on is take the lash and my lash curler, put it in like this, and curl the lash. This really gives a lifted effect, and it honestly looks like lash extensions once you put them on like this. Then I apply glue to the lash and I let it get tacky before I apply. This is key because otherwise when you apply when it's too wet, it can actually ruin your whole eyeshadow. Be wary. Difference that a lash makes, like, wow. So for now our eyes are done. We're gonna move on to the base. I'm gonna start off by color correcting. I'm using the Huda Beauty color corrector in the shade Peach. Color correcting, I used to sleep on it, guys, but it's a game changer for canceling out any darkness and any redness. So under the eyes, and for me, I have eczema around my mouth. Look at that, like the color has been corrected. For foundation, the key to a non-cakey look is using a lightweight foundation. So this one is one of my faves. It's the NARS Sheer Glow, or you can use a skin tint. I don't know if it's just me, but like this doesn't have a pump, so it's kind of ghetto. But I like to just tap it into the back of my hand like that. Apply it with my fingers. It really warms up the product. Now I'm gonna go ahead and blend with my brush. If my hijab gets dirty halfway through this video, please just mind your business. It'll be clean by the end of it because I'm wearing new. So the foundation is looking blended. Moving on to concealer. We're gonna go ahead with the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer in the shade Sugar Biscuit. You can be a little bit more generous with the concealer since we used a lighter coverage foundation, just so that our beat is giving a full beat. This is my concealer placement. Let that dry for like until I get bored of letting it dry. Why do I wish I can leave the house like this sometimes? Like, I'm gonna go back in with this brush to blend my concealer. For concealer, I always like to go upwards in a lifting motion. When I'm blending, this gives a lifted effect and kind of cleans up the shadow as well. The concealer is blended. Now it's time for le contour. What I like to do for contour is use a foundation stick that is in my contour shade. This is the Basma Beauty foundation stick in the shade 005. I just find that foundation sticks blend so much easier. It's my cheekbones right over here. Cheekbones, down my nose, forehead, can't forget that. A little under my chin, some down here. I'm not gonna lie, I forget to blend down here sometimes, so I'm scared to put too much. To blend, I take a really dense round foundation brush and I blend upwards, lift up for that lifted look. And you see how easily that blends. Forehead, I blend upwards like into my hairline, and that's all blended. For my favorite part, blush. In the Basma Beauty cream blush in the shade Fuchsia, look how pretty that is. And for blush placement, I like to go right in between like my concealer and my contour, kind of marry the two together and keep it at the higher point of my face. I feel like when you bring your blush down here, it also drags your face down. Like, instantly elevates the look and makes you look like a Badiana Puriana. I'm a weirdo and I like to add blush on my chin. Don't judge me. You don't have to do it if you don't like it. and a little on the tip of my nose. So our cream products are done. What I like to do before I set my under eye is take my concealer brush and just blend my concealer in so that we're not setting in any creases. To set, I'm going to be using my Holy Grail duo, a powder puff and the Huda Beauty setting powder in the shade Peach Pie. There's one product that you need from this entire video and is a non-negotiable. It's this one right here. So I take my setting powder into the back of the lid and I take my powder puff, dip it in, tap it in. I tap off the excess on the back of my hand so that when we set, it doesn't come off splotchy or like too much product, and tap in. We want to go upwards to lift and follow our concealer placement. Is like, look at that difference. And the next focus is in my smile lines. I also like to take more setting powder and bake right underneath where we place our blush and contour for a super snatched look. For nose contour, I always start off with a highlighter on the bridge of my nose, right in the middle and right at the tip. And then I take an eyeshadow brush and my Hoola bronzer and trace the sides of my nose. The most important part of nose contour is carrying it into this area right here, right underneath your brow, mirroring your eyeshadow to your nose contour. It just creates so much more of cohesive look, and it snatches your nose so much more. Like, that's, you just have to do this part. I'm going to now bake the sides of the nose. It's important to bake going inwards to create more of a snatched nose illusion instead of a wider nose. And we're just gonna bake for a little bit. Onto powder blush, I'm just gonna take a blush brush like this and go ahead and set my cream blush using the exact same placement. I feel like the combo of a powder and a cream blush is just unstoppable. It's necessary. Now we're gonna finish off the eyes. So I'm gonna bring you guys a little closer and I'm gonna go in with the Huda Beauty Creamy Kahal and line my waterline. I feel like this really brings the look together. Like, wow. Take a felt tip liquid liner and line the inner corner of my eyes. It's like a super tedious task, but it makes the world of a difference. For me personally, that really takes my makeup to the next level. Now we're just gonna dust off this bake. I'm actually so obsessed with this beat. If you like your eyes like this, a matte look, you can leave it like this, but I know a lot of the girls are wearing shimmer for Eid this year. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and add a little bit of shimmer to the front of my eye to elevate the look. I love adding shimmers with my fingers because I feel like it grasps on so much better. A beat is not complete until we have the lip combo on fleek. I just made that up. Take your favorite brown lip liner. I know we all have one. And go ahead and line your lips. When I line my lips, I only overline my Cupid's bow and I follow my natural lip line for the rest of the lip. Overline right underneath in the middle. I'm going to take a brown gloss. I'm using the Lawless Forget the Filler gloss in Maple Sugar. We're top. We're going to lighten up the center with a lighter shade just to give it more of a plump effect. This is a shade Nudie. Perfect. And last but not least, we are going to drown ourselves in setting spray. This is my favorite setting spray and I recommend you use a lot just because it really melts the powders and the liquids together and makes your face have that like marinated makeup look. And I have a last step for you if you're feeling really extra. I take a pressed setting powder. I like this one from Charlotte Tilbury. I'm using the shade 2 Powder Puff. And after I set, I take a little bit and just brighten up right underneath my eye, right underneath my eye and carry it into like the middle of my face. Here is the finished look. It actually turned out so good, and after watching this, you guys do not have an excuse for your Eid makeup not to slay. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend, because y'all can't gatekeep this kind of beat. Also, let me know what kind of videos you guys would like to see, inshallah. Bye.